better. So unlike the way Hollywood does sequels, I tried to make a film that actually outdoes the original.
Oh, okay, good.
Hopefully I did that. We'll see.
And you have Elsie Rodriguez, who plays Amanda's friend. And Amanda, by the way, is from New Jersey, so I want to mention that to people. So I was originally, so I wanted to plug that.
She's there now, actually.
Oh, is she really? That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Where's she from? Do you know, in New Jersey?
Oh, off the top of my head, no. If I heard it, I might remember.
Okay.
But, she is on IMDb. I think her credit's up there, but yeah, off the top of my head, I don't remember.
And then you got this little girl, Jessie Cobb, to play her at Alice at a younger age, and boy, she really, I mean, for a young girl, she was really good. I mean, she really kind of had the hairs on the back of your neck stand up a little bit in some of the things she said.
That's what I liked about, I was very fortunate to get the cast that I had working. We shot it, like I said, in 12 days in North Carolina with pretty much a student cast and crew. The cast was assembled from Elon University, which is a nearby acting college, and Neetson, of course, came from North Carolina School of the Arts, where I came from. I met her on a short film I did called Motherhood that is there. You can see that on my MySpace if you want. Jessie Cobb came to me through an actor named John Rushton, who I had worked with previously on another short film I did at school called Contagious. And he just floored me. He plays Dr. Rushton. His name's John Rushton. I wrote the part for him. He's a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Alice.
Yes.
So he brought her to me. She was great. She was great in the reading, and I think she did an excellent job. We didn't have a lot of time. The one thing, working in North Carolina, you don't have a big talent pool, especially a youth talent pool. So her hair is a little bit lighter, not quite as curly. So, that's kind of bothers me, but I think I'm, picking it apart at that point.
I mean, there's enough difference in age where you can get away with it. So, I mean, it's not something you can nitpick. Actually, none of the reviews I read said anything about that. So, most people took it like I did at face value. So, people change as they grow older. So you can kind of get away with that. So
we actually dyed her hair. She's a blonde. And we dyed her hair for that role, and we put black in it. Turned out light brown.
To get this off the ground was, I'm sure, not easy for you to get this. I mean, you got this to Cara Brown, who's your producer, and then she pretty much got the ball rolling. I mean, where'd you get your financing from, if you don't mind me asking?
Absolutely, out of my pocket.
Wow.
I paid for it with credit cards and student loans.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Now your sets. I mean, I guess if you're breaking this down from a production standpoint, the two biggest sets are her apartment and also the office. Now let's talk about her apartment. The set decoration of her room, by the way, really that was a character in itself, and really showed you who Alice was right off the bat. It was actually downright frightening to see that room every time that she went in there. And that was the interesting thing, is that she slept on the couch, and yet the bedroom was her killing room. So that was really interesting to me. I really picked up on that about her.
Good. Yeah, that was definitely a point I wanted to make. And I have to shout out to Glenn Paisan and Michael DeWeese, my art directors, were phenomenal to work with, and they did that room for practically nothing.
Wow.
It's actually my director of photography, Dave Martin. It is his apartment, and he moved out and into his parents' house so we could shoot there. So
wow,
that's his bedroom. He sacrificed for the shoot.
They came in through the back entrance. Is that actually a back entrance, or it's a separate place altogether?
It is actually a back entrance.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing that I didn't get in the dialogue that should have been in there. Drive around back. I don't want my neighbors to, this crazy neighbor to see me, which is the way she lures him up to the apartment, is talking about the crazy neighbor. So some people get confused about the front door and the back door, but that is what it's supposed to be. She took him around back to hide him. Makeup-wise and
effects-wise, as far as makeup, I think I like that your less is more approach very much. And then there's several. I mean, there's a throat cut that I thought was nicely done where you just saw enough, and like you said, your imagination filled in the blanks. So you didn't get high marks for using a lot of blood, but in this case, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, part of that is choice, and part of it is no budget. I didn't have a lot of money for effects, so we figured out creative ways to shoot it, hide the lack of budget, which I think benefit us in the long run. Because, like I said, I actually learned it from David Fincher in Fight Club. He shot 2 versions of the Edward Norton scene where he's beating Jared Leto. And he did a scene with all the blood and all the guts and just this vicious scene where the audience didn't quite respond to it. Well, he pulled all of that out and put in reaction shots instead with sound effects, and there were oohs and ahs throughout the audience. So I think that's a prime example is less more.
Now, you mentioned David Martin, your cinematographer. Now, did you use different type lenses to kind of give the film a different look? I just noticed that there was, kind of yellows and almost greens at times that, the way the picture was shaded.
We actually shot this with virtually no lights, a lot of existing lights, China balls, stuff we made. So we took a lot of time in pre-production figuring out what we could do in post-production. And I have to shout out to Graham Natras. He makes these filters. They're $100. You can get them off his website. It's natras.com. And these filters are just phenomenal. We lit knowing the capability of these filters, and we went into post, and everything was pretty much done with these filters from natras.com. It was shot on the Canon XL2, the same lens. So no, most of it was done in post-production.
Well, cool. And the music on the score, this haunting piano by Benjamin Miller was, really set the tone and helped really keep the mood of the piece all throughout. Kind of credit him for that.
Ben is a phenomenal musician. The guy can pick up an instrument and just play it, having never seen it before. He can play music by ear. I went to high school with Ben.
Wow.
And, he was in bands, and I watched him. He was the lead in the percussion section, and I always wanted to work with him, and I will continue to work with him. He's got such an interesting ear. He's in like 5 bands right now in Oklahoma City, and he teaches piano. And he's a working musician, but he's one of my favorite musicians.
Now, your background is that you actually started drawing, and with that, do you actually storyboard your movies at all? This movie, when you were planning it?
I did start out drawing, but I was never any good at it, and I tried painting, tried sculpting. None of it ever really looked any good. I